Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Detroit Sports Sit Down. My name is Tom Murphy Jr. I'm here with Joe Perry and Dan Murphy. We are recording today on the trade deadline day in the NFL, and there was a lot of speculation about things that might be moving and shaking with the Detroit Lions, but nothing happened.
I was going to say, was that today?
That was
today? I didn't even notice.
It came and went, man. It came and went. If you were on social media around anytime in the morning up until 4 o'clock, you would have noticed because speculation was running wild like Hulkamania. Man, there was a lot of rumors, and we thought the Lions, man, there were so many names popping up. Jamal Adams from the safety from the Jets. There was talks about Chris Harris Jr. From the Broncos. Of course, Darius Slay. You know, we were wondering if he was going to get traded.
Yeah, it's funny. You heard so much going on today, like all these trade rumors that were going to happen, and then nothing really happened. I mean, there were a couple moves, but
just today it was just the one, and it was Aqib Talib, the cornerback from the Rams, who is actually on the injured list right now.
Yeah.
So not even a guy who was really significant at this point. And that was the only major move today. So a lot of hype, a lot of rumors going around, a lot of social media talk. But eventually nothing happened. What did happen on Sunday was a big Lions win against the New York Football Giants. It wasn't a blowout, but it was a win against a not great team. At times it looked a little shaky, but the Lions got the win, and they sit here 3-3-1. What looks like right now, minimal chances to get to the playoffs. A lot of at this point in time, and if you looked at the schedule at the beginning of the season, it looked like the schedule for the Lions was top heavy. And now this is supposed to be the point where things get easier. But with the team sitting here 3-3-1, and with the way the division looks, and with already 2 division losses, guys, the Lions, it's like they're stuck in purgatory right now, and they didn't know if they wanted to make a move either way, so they just sat still. And it's kind of frustrating for me right now because they could have made a few moves. There were guys out there to get. I mean, Melvin. There were rumors about possibly Melvin Gordon, Le'Veon Bell.
What would have been your move, Tom? Your move that you thought would be a good move.
My move, I would have cashed my chips in for the future. I don't think this team's going to the playoffs, and even if they do, I don't think they're making any significant run. But I think they're a good football team that's a year or two away, which is such a easy thing to say, man. Isn't every team a year or two away?
How many times can they be a year or two away? You keep saying they're a year or two away, year or two away, year or two away. Eventually Stafford's going to retire.
We were just a year or two away.
But this isn't the year. Look, at 3-3-1 now, if you beat the Chiefs, if you beat the Packers, and you beat the Cardinals, and if we were sitting here today at 5-2, I'd say go all in, cash all your chips in, and go for it right now. But we're not. We're 3-3-1, third place in the division. Obviously, there's a chance, man. Who knows what could happen. The Packers, they could start falling off. The Vikings are a very sketchy team, and the Bears, they don't look that good. But there's only 9 weeks left.
Yeah.
And the Lions, they've got a lot of catching up to do to win the division, which at this point looks almost impossible, and to get a wild card, man, oh man.
Well, with the division, that's part of it. How good the division is to even get the wild card, because you might be the third best team in the division. So, can you overcome those other 2 teams to get that second wild card? Do you really think this team is capable of winning a Super Bowl? And that should be the goal, right? So why not
why not be sellers right now? So that's what I said. My move would have been, and especially with trading Diggs, last week, which we're going to talk about. It's just, why not be sellers, man? If you weren't going to go all in, why not? Like, I just don't understand standing pat and not doing nothing.
Sometimes you might not get what you want for that player.
Well, we all read all the report, man. There's so much information out there. It's so hard to decipher what's true and what's not. But one report I heard was the Eagles were really looking for a cornerback today at the trade deadline. And from what I heard, they offered up a first, a fourth, and then a conditional, which may have been a fifth or a sixth round. That's a lot of draft capital for Slay. Yeah, I would have taken that deal. That's the deal that I would have made today. Is I would have traded Slay. Now, as much as I really like Slay, I do. He's a great player, and he's under contract. For one more year, but he already, held out in the preseason, which is that he didn't actually hold out, during the regular season. But he held out for camp, but he wants more money. But he's already the third highest paid cornerback in the league, So how much more money do you want? Because he's not the best, right? And he's creeping up there in age, man. And cornerback is such an athletic, speed-driven position.
I don't think that much was on the table for Slay. I really don't. I don't think that much. If it was, I do agree with you. I think they should have made that trade and gone for the future.
Well, yeah, look, but Jalen Ramsey, he got, what was it, first, a second, and...
Ramsey, though, and Slay
how much better is... They're not worlds apart, man.
I think they are. Especially with age. Especially with age.
Ramsey's younger, Slay's getting older.
I don't think that much was on I really don't. I think if that much was on it, I think they would have traded him. Because that's a lot to get. And we are, I think, a couple years away.
What about just a straight-up first-round pick?
I would have took, straight-up first-round pick for him. Because same thing, he's an over 30-year-old cornerback. He's kind of held out. He wants that big contract, so who knows what he's going to do.
Probably going to be his last.
Who knows what he's going to do this year, too. And it is, who knows what he's going to do next year. If he is going to hold out, because it is going to be one of his last contracts.
And these injuries are starting to pile. He was held out. He didn't play last week. These injuries are piling up with Slay.
My worst trade would have been to trade for Melvin Gordon.
Really?
And I heard so many people saying that. I'm like, do not do that.
Why?
And the reason is because it's the same thing with him. He's another guy that wants to get paid. So you're going to be giving up a draft pick and have to give up a lot of money for a position that you don't need to spend that money on.
I heard about Gordon and Bell.
There's a couple. I really hated that.
Both those running backs. I think that would have been a disaster for the Lions, because you would have, especially Gordon. You're right about Gordon, because he's going to be a free agent at the end of this year. He wanted that contract, but the NFL, they just do not pay running backs, man. Mm-hmm. And because it's the most abused and used position in the NFL. And Melvin Gordon, he's starting to, while he's still young, he's not young in running back terms, though.
No.
Mm-hmm. I would not have wanted to see them trade for either Bell or Gordon and give up a ton, because they're not in that position. Now, again, if they were 5-2,
exactly, yeah.
Maybe you make that.
Yeah,
especially with Kerryon Johnson going down for what looks like the year. Maybe you make a move like that. But when you're sitting at 3-3-1, you don't give up the future for a guy for a rental. Not a
who
rental
wants to get
running
paid.
back. So you're going to give up. What do you think it would have even took to get Gordon?
They probably
second round pick.
Probably at least
the least you think the Chargers would have taken?
Probably at least a second round pick for him.
And they
probably want a first, but
and nobody offered that up. I'm surprised that there aren't some teams out there that would have offered up.
Well, they probably know the same thing, that he wants that money, and and no one wants to spend that money on the running back position. They want you need 2 or 3 running backs because of injury. What I think the Lions should do is sign Ajayi. He's a free agent who's out there.
He's still out there.
Yeah, he's still out there. Like, I would rather have them do something like that, sign someone like that, give them a chance, and then to trade a capital. I mean, even though they what's the Seattle running back, Penny?
Yeah,
they wanted. I thought about that. If you can get them for like that 5th round pick that you just got, something like that.
That wouldn't have been a bad move.
You know, something little like that. I could see going for a running back or signing Jay Ajayi. I kind of like that because you're getting a player for not giving anything up.
Yeah.
So, I mean, why don't you do a little like a move like that instead of wasting your picks? But
they might still do. I just think I get frustrated when you hear fans and radio hosts and get mad at the franchise for not making a hypothetical trade.
Yeah,
like. Who knows if the Lions were actually offered a 1st-round pick? We don't know that. Yeah. Maybe somebody came out and said that, but that's not actually what was on the table. Maybe it was just a 2nd-round pick.
I don't see it.
And the Lions wouldn't have done that. You know, like it drives me crazy when Bob Quinn doesn't know what the hell he's doing. How do you not trade Darius Slade for 5 draft picks? I don't understand it. Yeah. I would have done it. It drives me crazy.
Yeah.
Like we don't know what was on the table. If we find out that it was a 1st-round pick and maybe some other things for Slade, then he was wrong to not take it. He should have taken it.
Yeah, and that's a great point, Dan. Because how much of this? Because I love this stuff. I love trade deadline, man. Whether it's baseball, basketball, football, hockey, not so much because I don't know who the hell is who.
We used to. There'll be a day where we're back into it again.
Yeah, no, not but I mean, like even with the Wings, I don't know the players enough. But baseball, basketball, football, well, even baseball, even with the Tigers, but because they're in the basement right now, but. Especially when the Tigers were really in the thick of things, man. You know, the trade deadline was really exciting, man. You know,
who are we gonna get?
Yeah,
I got David Price that one year.
Yeah,
it's awesome.
You know, that's some fun stuff, man. And so it was fun today to read it all. Like, I'm listening to Sports Talk. I'm checking my phone. I've got I've got Sports Talk on the radio. I got ESPN on the TV on mute. You know, just to keep those headlines going, and I'm on my phone, you know. I felt like I was Adam Schefter myself, man, you know. Just got a phone in each hand. Like, what's going on? What's going to happen? And a bunch of nothing happened. But the rumors and stuff, just following along and kind of thinking, ooh, you know, that's not a bad deal. Ooh, okay, I like this, I like that, I don't like this. It's fun, man. But you're right, Dan. Like, how much can you even trust of all this? And you got to think of all these insiders, you know, like what are they in the locker room? Are they on the phone with the GM? Like,
they might just use them to throw stuff out there to see what other people are thinking.
Oh, I bet that happens all the time, man. They use each other. Hey, man, you know, the GM.
I want 10 first-round picks for this guy. Let's see what everybody says.
Yeah, I'm gonna text Chris Mortensen right now, you know, and say, hey, you know, we're interested in so and so's running back. You know, there's a rumor out there that he might go for a first-round pick. You know, so there's got to be so much. I would love to know the truth with that. You know, like if you could just be like God, you know, and like you're just standing over like the whole NFL and you just get to hear all the phone calls and all the different back and forth and see what everybody's doing. I bet that'd be so much fun, man, because there was just a flurry of phone calls and everybody, it's probably just like a big poker table, you know, everybody's got their hand, you know, all these GMs just playing poker.
Yeah,
man,
that's basically what it is.
You know, like, I'll give you you know, this and that for this, and they're like, no, because then they're waiting for another phone call. It's like, oh, so and so just offered this, and man, I bet it's fun as hell, man. But nothing happened, man. So ultimately, I guess let's say this: are you guys? So I said my piece. I wish the Lions would have been sellers today. So Dan, what do you think? Do you wish they would have sold? Do you wish they would have gone all in, or are you glad that they just stayed put because you don't think there was a right move to be made today?
They lost their opportunity to go all in with the tie against Arizona. the loss against Kansas City, where they had an opportunity to win that game. They outplayed Kansas City, and the loss against Green Bay that got taken from them, by the refs, which I truly believe they got robbed in that game.
Yeah.
But all those three things, they win those three games. They're in position. You go get a running back. You go do what you got to do. You're in position to win a division for the first time since 1993. Like, you go out and make that move. But unfortunately, woulda, coulda, shoulda, as always with the Lions, they're firmly in mediocre.
Yeah.
They're not going to win the division. Maybe they sneak in the playoffs, get knocked on the first round. That's not a position to go out and get a Melvin Gordon. It's not a position to go out and get a Le'Veon Bell. It's not a position to go out and spend draft capital on a running back or another position. It's just not. So, you go the other way. Yeah, it would have been nice to trade Darius Slay for a first-round pick, but I don't know if that was out there. I don't know if they had that opportunity. If they did and they didn't jump at it, they were wrong. But I don't know if that opportunity was out there, so I'm not going to sit here and bash them. But I wish they could have gotten some draft picks out of today. Wish they could have traded some players that may be leaving, if it's not at the end of the season, if at the end of next season, and go out and get some draft picks. But either way, we sit where we are. They're a mediocre team. They haven't built for the future. It's just a frustrating situation all around.
Yeah. What about you, Joe?
Well, I pretty much said my piece, but I agree with you. I'd rather have them sell for the future, but I'm just glad they really didn't give up their future for a running back especially. So I'm guess I'm good to stay pat. If like you said, they did have a first-round pick out there for Slay, they should have jumped on that because he's aging, he's over 30, and he's up for a new contract. So I would have been fine with that moving on for a first-round pick from him.
Yeah. All right, so what do you guys think about this game that happened on Sunday? It was a fun game to watch. The Lions, the offense seemed it's so weird. Like, yeah, I mean everything pretty much came together because they got the win. But man, like the defense still looked a little lackadaisical, but they made big plays at times. The offense looked pretty sharp. Now and the running game, though, it really is kind of rough, man,
Yeah, we only had 59 rushing yards on 25 carries, so we definitely couldn't run the ball, and that hurt us, and it hurts us by having to not really have a starting running back because, I mean, Ty Johnson, he's more of a complimentary back, and then Actually, Carlson, the first couple runs, he looked good, but the holes out there were pretty big for him. I think he could have done better with the holes that were out there, but he looked solid, and I guess.
But any of those guys they're good in a pinch, but they're not guys that are going to carry the load for you 15 to 20 carries a game, and that's where you miss Kerryon Johnson. Him being out, that's a problem. We all like him, when he's in there and he's healthy and things are rolling. He looks great, but man, it was a problem in college, and now it's starting to show its ugly head. Now, both last season and now halfway through this season,
and
he's hurt. He's injury prone.
How frustrating is that, man? Because he did this different running backs all together, but it reminds me of Javid Best, man. Like, you knew he had problems coming in, but he was so exciting.
Yeah,
and he had his moments, man. I don't think no Lions fan will ever forget that Monday night game at home against the Bears when he just went electric.
Yeah, I remember.
And then, but then all of a sudden, man, he's gone. And it's just kind of. I hope this isn't the same thing because now Kerryon Johnson, he didn't miss games. He got hurt almost every game in college, but he didn't miss games. Like, he wasn't out like for an extended period of time or nothing. But
he had a little harder in the NFL though than in college. And if you're getting hurt with the college players hitting you, you're going to definitely get hurt with the NFL.
Yeah, well, of course. And then again, running backs, man, it's the toughest position in football. But I mean, there's guys, that come in here and they sustain and they play great. The Lions, man, it's like if they can't find that guy who can consistently, the be the bell cow, without missing time. So
I mean, it's partly the line too. I mean, like I said, they did have some holes early in that game where he thought Trey Carson could get some good carries, but I don't know. He just didn't do much later in the game at all.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's partly the line, too. I don't think opening up holes for our running backs. I mean, why don't we go out there and get a Jay Ajayi or somebody to...
A guy like Jay Ajayi, you got to wonder, like, there's got to be a reason why nobody else has picked him up at this point, you know? Like,
yeah, I mean, he is coming off a knee surgery, so... And he has had his injuries as well. So, I mean, that could be part of it. And maybe he's looking for more than a one-year contract, something like that. He might be looking for multiple years. So, I mean, and I also saw about Perkins. He did get a few carries. He got 3 carries for 4 yards.
Yeah. Look at this stellar line of running backs, man. You got Trey Carson, who a lot of people didn't even realize he was on the team.
No, I didn't even know who he was either. I'm like, who is that?
He gets 12 carries for 34 yards. Ty Johnson, who I think there is some reason to be excited about him. You know,
but he's more of a complimentary back than
he's not gonna be a
every
superstar.
down back.
7 carries, 25 yards, and then Paul Perkins 3 carries for 4 yards. And then McKissick, who has had some exciting plays, but more.
He's a special team more guy.
Well, he's more of a like third down catch out of the backfield type back.
But yeah,
too,
but
is what we're seeing.
He's good on special teams.
1 carry for a -1 yard. You know, that's not going to get the job done, right? So 25 carries for 59 yards. Yeah. But at the same time, man, when you got Stafford, you know, look at this stat line, man. 25 of 32, 342 yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 pick.
He's having one of the best seasons of his career.
He really is.
And they're still sitting here at 3-3-1. It's just it's so frustrating because it just feels like it's another great player. Like,
yeah,
we can argue this, but I think Stafford could have been a Hall of Fame player if he was with another franchise with the talent that
Golden
he has.
Tate, did you guys hear the Golden Tate? He
said
that
he'd have
earlier
a couple
this week.
rings. He'd have a couple rings
with somebody else.
But he hasn't even won a playoff game yet. You know, like he's not going to go down as a Hall of Fame. Like people aren't going to even come close to looking at him.
Well, I would disagree with that.
He's going to put up the fastest
he's going to have the numbers
might get him looked at.
Yeah, for his numbers, he'll be looked at for sure.
But I don't think he'll get in.
It'll be
I mean, this is hypothetical down the line, but I'm just saying, like, God, it's another phenomenal talent that's going to get wasted.
Well, there's still this time. I mean, because let's look at Stafford now. It doesn't feel like Stafford's that old, but God, man, he's been here now. Can he play as long as Brady? Well, we don't even know how long Brady's going to play. I think Brady's got a good 7-8 years left.
Brady's a totally different animal.
Yeah,
Stafford's 31.
But yeah, he's 31. But Stafford could. I mean, if he stays healthy, if that back, you know, I know he had the back injuries, and once the back if it really goes.
Yeah, but could you see him being one of those players that same thing as our other 2 best players?
Yeah, just get worn down, tired of losing, tired of
and retire early.
Yeah.
Somebody said that I think on the radio when I was going into work one day, and I'm like starting to think. I feel like he might be one of those players. He might do the same thing.
We're breaking down the running game, and God, I mean, every single year we say this. If you just give Stafford a running game.
Yeah.
And we thought maybe they're going to do it with the play caller, and they're trying to do it.
But how much?
It's not there.
Even the money and the draft capital, man. Like, look at the offensive line between the money that was brought in with free agents in the last couple of years and all the top draft picks that were put on the line. And, you know, you get a second-round pick last year with Carry-On, and... It's super frustrating because it's just not happening. Like, why is it like, and it's not even like the curse of Barry Sanders. Like, I used to think that Barry Sanders just put a curse on, like, nobody's ever going to be as good as me, and he did some, like, voodoo stuff. And
no, they just haven't anybody good enough.
But no, because Barry Sanders, he's back and like he's around, he loves the team, you know, he's showing up to functions. Like, Barry Sanders is back around being a Lion, you know.
Yeah, that's true.
He's kind of embracing the fact that he was a Detroit Lion, and so I don't think it's the curse of Barry Sanders.
It's the curse of Calvin.
No, I mean, Calvin too, but He's even coming back around. You know, he's hanging around.
Is he?
Well, he's hanging around the area still. You know,
okay.
He didn't move
out
and
sell weed.
He's pretty bitter.
He's here to sell weed.
He's pretty bitter.
Well, he was at the Pistons game with.
He's not mad at Detroit or Detroit fans.
Just the Lions.
He's just mad at the Lions franchise.
Yeah. I don't know. Because it's got to be some like otherworldly thing, right? It's like it's got to be curses and stuff like that, right? It can't just be normal football stuff, right?
This is beyond. Like you watch that Green Bay game. Like they outplayed him the whole game. They had the game, and all of a sudden these just made up calls cost them the game.
Yeah.
Trey Flowers had never been called for a hands to the face in his entire career. And he gets called for him.
Well, he remember who he played for.
He played for the Patriots. They still had 6 games or 5 games leading up to that with the Lions. Never been called for it. Had been doing the same technique the whole game in his whole career.
Well, it took a few games to get Lion on.
And it took for the fact that Rodgers gets sacked on 3rd and long, 10 minutes left, and the Lions are up 2 scores. All of a sudden, and the flag doesn't come out until he's on the ground.
Yeah.
And it's like, even when the Lions find a way to play great and put it all together,
and they looked really damn good.
Something comes out of nowhere.
Yep. And they actually apologize. The NFL apologized. How many times have the Lions been apologized to now?
But
and guess what's going to happen next year? You're going to get to review hands to the face.
That's what we should be able to. We should put together like all the times we've lost. Remember in Seattle?
People made videos.
Oh yeah.
Remember the Seattle one where they knocked it out of the back of the end zone?
Go to YouTube, man. They're on there, man. You can look at every single one back to back, man. It's unbelievable.
It is. It's just to
really
think about them all.
But it's just something beyond.
I think it is, man. I really don't. And I joke about the curse with Barry Sanders, but because we all know about the curse, but that curse was supposed to be lifted, man. Bobby Lane said you're not going to win for 50 years. It's been like
they got the good quarterback.
Now?
It took 50 years for them to get a good quarterback after Bobby Lane. They finally got the good quarterback. They just don't have the good team.
Oh man,
there's always next year.
Well, they're still this year.
I know.
Yeah. I mean, just to get things back on track here. I mean, they are 3-3-1. They're a 500 team. It's just unfortunate, but they're in the toughest division of football because you got the Vikings at 6-2, you got the Packers at 7-1.
And 500's not going to get it done, man.
Well, with their schedule, I can see them getting a wild card.
The schedule's not super easy. It's not that easy.
They got the Raiders, the Bears, Cowboys, Redskins, Bears, Vikings, Buccaneers, Broncos, and then the Packers.
Yeah, in a lot of the tough games,
I see 5 wins out of that, man. I see it 9. It would be 9-6-1.
That would be 5 wins would be 8.
Well, 5. Yeah. Okay. So even 8.
8-7-1.
7. I know. I did this last podcast too. That tie is really screwing me up, man. Well, the tie is hard, man. You got throwing that tie and
the Cowboys, the Vikings, and the Packers are what scares me.
Yeah.
Well, you got the Packers at home. You got the road with the Vikings, but the Bears aren't that great. You got 2 of them.
Yeah.
You got the Broncos who are terrible. You got the Redskins who are terrible.
Yeah.
I mean, you got the Buccaneers who aren't that great. Yeah. And you got that at home. I mean, there's a lot of winnable games left on that schedule. We talked about this exact scenario, right? We talked about it before the season. We said if they can get out of this stretch 500, they got a chance to make the playoffs.
Yep.
Now, if they can win some games they're not supposed to, we talked about the Chiefs, we talked about the Packers. You go on the road and beat the Packers after a bye week. Hey, now you're talking about the division. They didn't win those games. Had they won those games, we're talking division right now. They didn't. They're at 500. Now we're back to what we talked about before the season. Like, this is probably where we all thought they were going to be. They're going to be fighting for a wild card spot. And that's what they're at. They got a favorable schedule. You might disagree, Tom, but I think they got a favorable schedule going forward compared to what they just played. And I think they got a good chance of making the wild card.
Yeah, man.
But that's not. But at the end of the day, that probably results in a first round loss.
You really think that they're
going to be flirting with?
Can the North get 3 teams in the playoff?
I think so. It's going to be tough. I'm not saying it's going to be easy, but I think they got a shot.
I mean, yeah, even if the Packers lose another game, it's fine. I mean, we saw that we could beat them on the road, so to have them at home the last game, they might be sitting people at that point. You know, that game might not even matter to them.
Yeah.
And then the Vikings, I don't know. We can probably
they can go either way. Man.
Yeah, but they are hot and cold. You're right.
They are.
I mean, they're playing great right
they're
now.
finding ways to win games, but there was some dissension, man, and there was all those you had the wide receivers calling out the quarterback, But
and even the Cowboys, they look beatable at times.
They are. Any team.
So the tough teams are beatable.
Because if you look at the top teams, okay, so the East is a mess. Okay,
if the Lions were in the East, they'd be right there.
Yeah,
they're 2-0 against the East right now.
We got Dallas at 4-3, Philly at 4-4, and the Giants and the Redskins. They're just they don't even matter. And then you look at the South, the Saints. How lucky are these guys, man? You lose your Hall of Fame quarterback, and Teddy Ballgame just shows up and goes nuts, man. You got Teddy Bridgewater.
You always want to say that. Teddy Bridgewater did not come in and go nuts.
Didn't go nuts.
He kept in the flow.
Yeah.
It gave them an opportunity to win.
He didn't lose a game.
Well, they won a game 13-9 that he played. It's not like he went out and lit the world on fire, but he was an adequate.
Yeah, that's what you need as a backward.
The Saints are 7-1. They lost their quarterback.
Because they have a great team. They have a great team, Tom.
All right, yes.
I'm not saying Teddy Bridgewater isn't the greatest thing.
He's not. I'm not saying he's the greatest thing ever, man. But it's just all I'm saying is it's pretty incredible where the Saints are at right now, having lost their quarterback.
Yeah.
Okay. But the rest of their division, you got the Panthers at 4-3, who look super mediocre. The Bucks, who they can go out to LA and put up 55 on the Rams, which is unbelievable, and then.
Yeah, their defense is good, but
you just go
good and bad.
Throw 5 interceptions the next game.
For you is up and down.
Unbelievable. So they're sitting at 2-5, and then you got the Falcons, just a straight dumpster fire. Okay, so and then you go out west, man. Out west
that's
where
the wild card.
This is where it's going to come down to, man, because you got San Francisco sitting at 7-0, which is wow. Unbelievable.
Seattle.
You got Seattle looking really good, sitting at 6-2, and then you got the Rams, who 5-3. I think their best days are ahead of them.
Those are the teams: the Seahawks, the Rams, and the Vikings.
You got the stupid Cardinals that are even there at 3-4-1.
They'll fall off,
of course, but
you got it's the Rams, Seahawks, and Vikings, and then those are the teams the Lions have to compete for.
Yeah,
there'll be 2 spots.
We got to beat the Vikings. I think that's a must win. Yeah. It's a must-win in order to overtake them.
Joe, they're pretty much all must-wins at this point, even just to make the wild card.
No, you're right, yeah.
I mean, you can look. You're not going to go win, 9 straight. Probably not. Especially with
but head-to-head against a team like that, you have to win.
They're going to have to go at least 6-3 down this stretch, and that still might not get it done. And if I had to make a prediction right now, that's what's going to kill them is that tie, because I see them going 6-3.
How annoying
finishing
is that?
9-6-1, and you're going to have 2 teams that are going for wild cards that are 10-6 above them.
Yeah,
and they're going to miss out because of that tie. And it's on them. An 18-point lead that they blew. It's inexcusable against a rookie quarterback, head coach in their first games. It can't happen.
So now that the trade deadline has come and gone, and there was all those rumors with Slay possibly when Wander Diggs did get traded, what do you think the locker room is right now? Does Slay step up and be a leader? Or is he salty and he just wants this season over and he wants to find his way to get the hell out of town? Now, what I do like is that his wife tweeted out, right after the deadline passed, he said, the Slays ain't going nowhere. Detroit is home. So it looked like at least the family was happy.
I think he's going to be professional and do his job. Is he going to stand up and be some rah-rah leader? I don't know if he was that before, and I don't think he's going to be it now. But I think he's going to do his job. I don't think he's going to go in the tank. I don't think he's going to, make these injuries seem worse than they are.
That's what I was going to ask you.
Which is what kind of seems like might be happening with Jalen Ramsey before he got traded. I don't think it's going to happen with Slay.
I don't think I agree with you. I don't think Slay. He just seems like a stand-up guy. He understands that it is a business, clearly, because what about all that stuff about the Diggs trade, like him letting
he was
loose?
Pissed.
He was just mad.
It was his friend. It was the captain of the team. It's like,
is that okay? Is that okay for him to do that?
He'll get over it. I think it's fine.
What bothered me and all that was he said that, they didn't come to talk to me. They didn't come and say anything to me about it, either before or after it. Like, that's a problem to me. Because if you're going to trade a team captain, if you do it, you better talk to the leaders of the team.
So wait,
after that,
you're mad that the Lions didn't come talk to Slay about
not about
Diggs.
trading, but at least immediately after the trade was made, have individual conversations with your leaders and say, "This is why we did this. This was our rationale to do it. We need you to step up and be leaders of this team now."
How often do you think that happens in the not for long league, where the front office?
It's not often you trade a team captain in the middle of the season, when your team is right in the midst of things.
Yeah.
If this team was 0-7, okay, whatever.
Everybody.
But when you're in the midst of a playoff run, you trade a team captain and you don't say anything to your guys.
And
Slay it's just business as usual.
And with Diggs being the team captain, Slay is, at least on the defense, he's the face of the defense. He's on the Hungry Howie's commercials. He's the all pro.
Yeah.
He's the guy on defense, man. So I agree with what you're saying, because they probably should have came and taught, had it, but you don't. I mean, they must have had some type of team meeting.
I would
at some
think
point.
with the way he was acting and some of the things he was saying on Twitter and that.
Yeah. Oh, he
made
went
it seem
off
like
on Twitter.
He wasn't talked to at all, and it just happened and moved on.
Yeah. This is our. I like this though. I do, because there's a lot of people. Let me say this right. There was a lot of discussion about Slay when he went off. He gave his opinion. And we're in this day and age in sports and sports media and social media where players have a voice, and they have an instantaneous voice. They have it right there in their hand, and all they got to do is just, with an instant reaction and a click of a phone, send out something that millions and millions of people are going to read and instantly analyze and pick apart. It's fun and it's crazy at the same time, So
you got to be smart about it.
Yeah, but these are human beings too,
I think I don't think
if your best friend just got just shipped off somewhere, you're working at your job and your best coworker just moves on for whatever reason, or doesn't get picked up for a promotion, and you just vent on it, with your own social media. Your 2,000 Facebook friends probably don't care about it, but when you're an NFL player, man, boom, it's instant, and so much gets talked about, man, and this is going on with all sports right now. Me personally, because I love the stuff, I think it's fun. I think it's fun. I think it's interesting. It makes fans interact more, and it humanizes the athletes. They don't have to just shut up and dribble. They have an opinion. Say what you want to say. I didn't see anything wrong with what Darius Slay, with any of his reaction about when Diggs got traded. I didn't see nothing wrong with it. I know a lot of people did. I did not.
I didn't because I didn't feel like he called out any one person. I don't think he said anything that was too far out of line. He just showed that he was frustrated. His friend and his teammate was traded, and he didn't agree with it. I like seeing that passion. It shows that he cares. But I would have also liked to see it, and maybe it happened. I don't know. But I didn't hear anything about it. That they had some type of meeting, or they had talked to some of at least their team leaders and said, "Hey, this is what happened. This is why we did it. Now we need you guys to step up and be the leaders of this team and carry us forward." Yeah. You got to have something. You can't just go along. It's just business. That's how things go.
It is though, man.
I know it is, but you're still in the midst. This is the team for this year.
Yeah.
You have to have this team come together. You can't just have everybody just go off and be individuals at this point.
Yeah.
Because they think, well, they don't care about us, so I don't care about the team. You can't have that. You can't win.
That's a sentiment right there, man. When you, God, you're right, man. You can really go a lot of different ways with this, because he wasn't just a guy, man. He was a team captain. and you just and that you didn't even get value for him, man. I really don't think you got value. A 5th round pick.
Well, like,
but that's the thing though. Like you bring your captains together. See, I'm thinking in the way Patricia and Quinn are probably thinking. Okay, Diggs hasn't had a good year.
Yeah,
we're going to bench him. So let's try to get something with him right now. Let's try to get something for him. Yeah. They probably didn't get as much as they wanted, but they got something for him, which they were going to bench him anyways, right? So they went out and got something for him. Now, at that point, once they made that trade, they should have sat down with the guys and said, hey, listen, we didn't feel like he was giving us the play that we needed from him. We were going to go with our young guys anyways. We went and saw what we could get for him. We got something of value for him. We moved up a couple of rounds in the draft. We gained some draft capital by getting rid of him. Now we're going to play our young guys because we believe in them. This is why we did it. Now we need you guys to step up and be leaders and run this defense. This is why we did it. We talked to you guys. We brought you guys in because, we believe in you guys and we believe you guys as the leaders of this team. But we wanted to tell you why we did it. This is why we did it, because we believe in our young guys. Which is fine. That's a totally fine rationale to do it. But they had to have that conversation with them. And if they did not have that conversation with their leaders, that's a problem.
Is it though? Is that Bob Quinn's job to go into the locker room? That's what I was going to get to. Is that so? Bob Quinn, that's not his job to explain to guys why he's.
No, it's his job to. He's supposed to work with Patricia to decide what they're going to do, and then it's obviously they work together, decide what they're going to do. It's probably Patricia came to him and said, "Hey, we're not getting the play that we need from him. It's a week to week thing." We're not getting the play. For whatever reason, they're not getting the play from him. They decided to move him. Now that's where Quinn goes out and tries to get something for him. But it's Patricia's job to then, once the trade is made, to keep his team together and explain to his team, to explain to his guys why they did it. That's his job. If he didn't do that, that's a problem. I'd be really surprised if he didn't say something to those guys.
Oh,
do you think Diggs spoke up against their defense? Like, there were some reports about that. Do you think that was part of it, too?
There could have been some disagreements, in the locker room, things like that. It's very possible.
That happens, man.
I know that happens,
and
but...
And you're dealing with these, this a locker room full of alpha males, and maybe they're... Because especially, with 3 losses in a row, and Diggs not playing to the level that he was kind of expected to play this year... Maybe there was some type. There could have
been something where he got called out and then he stood up and called it right back out.
Yeah,
you don't know. Like, we weren't there, but there was something.
That's
definitely a possibility too.
I feel like there's something more.
And maybe somebody said something out of line. I think went too far.
And I bet at some point, maybe once the season's over, or if the Seahawks and Lions meet up in the playoffs somehow. Maybe you'll hear about that, get the true story. But I think that's what in my back of my head, man, I think that's what went down, man. I think he stepped up and, words were said, like bridges got crossed that you can't go back,
and maybe they told him he was getting benched and he lashed out. I don't know. But there's a lot of different scenarios. There's definitely a lot of scenarios you can go with it, but
especially with him all of a sudden out of the blue, a 5th round pick, it kind of spells like something happened.
I really thought it was going to be a deal that led up to another deal. That's the only thing that really made sense to me. Was this is something that's leading up to the trade deadline? If this is something that we're making room for somebody else, and something's going to go down, but. Nothing obviously went down.
I think it's more that he just wasn't playing well, and they wanted to go with their young guys, and they want to go with their young guys going forward.
Yeah. So here we are, man, stuck in Lions purgatory, stuck in NFL purgatory once again, man. It's the life of a Lions fan. Hey, at least they're not 0-7, right? Like.
It's fun, though. Isn't purgatory fun? Like, just like Detroit Pistons.
You never know.
As soon as the Lions are done, we got all that to look forward to.
Oh, man.
Andre Drummond having a good game for one day, and then...
Yeah, Andre Drummond goes for 100 points and 48 rebounds one day, and then doesn't care about basketball the next day.
12 points, 8 rebounds
tonight. Oh, man. But, yeah. No, we will. There's going to be plenty of time for us to talk about the Pistons, who are actually kind of exciting. a little bit right now.
One day and the next
Derrick
day.
Rose, man. Derrick Rose. Oh, I'm so excited about Derrick. Soon, maybe next week, maybe the week after, we'll actually talk some basketball or something other than the Lions. But
what do you guys think about this week against the Raiders?
Yeah, let's
heading out west.
Man, traditionally, Lions have a tough time out west, man, and
they're 3-4. I thought they had a better record than that.
They were 3-2. They've lost the last 2 games.
Okay, is that what it is? I don't know why I was thinking they had a winning record, the Raiders, but I guess, like you said, their last 2. So
they've been all right, man.
Yeah.
I pretty much watched the whole game in London when they beat the Bears, and they looked pretty good. Man.
I haven't had
really
a chance
did.
to watch them, really.
They got a strong running game with Josh Jacobs.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Card, veteran guy. The defense is decent, you know. Nothing great. I think if the Lions play a really good game, you know, fundamentally, and no stupid penalties.
Yeah, right.
You know, yeah, I know.
Come on, Tom.
No.
Yeah, if they find a running game and all of a sudden they get a big
I
pass
don't
rush.
think they're going to. Hey,
they don't let them score any points.
Man. Trey Flowers made some noise this week, and not just for getting
Giants
ghost penalties, man.
It's the Giants.
He actually he looked decent, though.
I think it was the Giants.
It was the Giants, but
I mean, they did finally almost have their full team back on offense, so I think that's why they did put up some points. But it's still the Giants.
The Lions are they should beat Oakland. They should.
If they're a playoff team, they got to go out and beat Oakland. That's what it comes down to. Like, you got to go out and beat Oakland. They're a better team than Oakland. They got to go out and win this game. But like you said, they got to go out west. They traditionally don't do well out west. But at the end of the day, it's going to be good weather.
Why
it's
is that? Man,
Stafford's got to tear it up again. That's the way it goes.
We should look this up at some point, man, to see, like, if you break down the NFL and you take, like, I guess from, like
East Coast
like
going
East
far
Coast
west
going
and West going
versus,
far east.
Like what are the man? It's probably pretty even, I would think, right? Because just going on the road is hard, but like going all the way that far out, you know, like traveling for Lions to travel to Minnesota or Chicago or Green Bay, you know, in their division, it's not as extreme as going all the way out to L.A., you know.
Yeah.
So
and the Raiders had some weird schedule. I think this is their first home game in 6 weeks.
Yeah,
because the London game was considered a home game, and I think they had a bye week in there.
Yeah,
and then they had all road games in the middle of that.
Yeah, because I thought that was weird because back a few weeks ago, they were saying that that this would be the last time that the baseball team and the football team both play in that stadium. And it was just weird. I was like, how is that even possible? Because there's like 4 more weeks. And then, but yeah, the way their schedule broke out real weird.
9-15 was their last home game.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, that is
a
while.
Crazy, isn't it? That's crazy. They had an insane amount of travel within that, too, because obviously London, you include into that. So, I mean, they might be, I don't know, it's the NFL, but they might be jacked up just to be home and be playing at home again.
Yeah, it's possible.
I don't want to overrate that, but it's just an interesting thing going into the game.
So, I don't know, man.
Now, what are your picks?
Analysis-wise, man, they should beat them. They really should, but the Raiders have a nice running game, man. They might struggle. The Lions might struggle with that. And we'll see now. What I would like to see is this team really come together now, because like all the trade deadline speculation, that's all gone. Diggs, he's gone, but the defense came together and played a really nice game, and beat a team at home that they should beat in the Giants, and now that they're sitting here right in the middle, 3-3-1. You're in the thick of things. I mean, the season isn't lost. The season's not over. I mean, you go out west and you beat the Raiders. You continue to be a part of the conversation, at least for the wild card. So I'm very, very interested to see how the Lions respond to this. And I think they're pretty good, man. I think this team is pretty good. I really do. I think the Lions are a decent team, and I think this is going to have to be a Stafford game. This is going to have to
I
be
think
a
we're
game.
going to be saying that the rest of the year.
Yeah, you're probably right.
Especially to win.
Because Walter Payton, Barry Sanders, Melvin Gordon, and Le'Veon Bell. None of these guys are coming through into the locker room. So maybe they grab Jay Ajayi. Maybe they grab somebody else. Is He Hate Me? Remember him from the XFL? Is he
he's gearing up for a second
on the couch somewhere?
Yeah.
Is that what he's doing? Maybe he's got some video. Can Colin Kaepernick play running back? Man, I know he's fast. I don't know, man. I don't know if this running game's gonna pick up at all. But Stafford, maybe this is the time where he puts his team on his shoulders and he starts grinding out some wins on his own, man. Nobody wins a football game on their own, obviously, in the NFL. But what if he does some Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers type stuff going down the line here, man, and he really just starts picking apart defenses, and the passing game is looking great. Not just because of Stafford, but Amendola's really coming. God, this guy just catches everything,
Yeah,
Amendola's looking like a great pickup. We're loving ourselves some Marvin Jones, but how about the other Marvin, man? Yeah. Marvin number 2, man. Where did this guy come from, man? He only gets one catch a game, but they're huge, man.
Yeah.
Maybe this dude could step up. Kenny Galladay's probably gonna,
he said he could be a top 10 in wide receiver, and it looks like he is.
This passing game could be something else,
top
man.
10, yeah.
I know last week, man, Logan Thomas came up with a pretty big catch or two. Hawkinson, he's not being that breakout. Oh my God, this guy's gonna be a surefire Hall of Fame. Here's the next Tony Gonzalez. I'm actually very disappointed with his season so far, but he's still a guy that could have a breakout game.
He's. It's hard.
I think that injury kind of shook him up a little bit.
Yeah.
But it's hard also for someone to come out and just tear it up.
And they say
that position, the tight end position.
Yeah, tight end's really, really tough.
For what he's doing right now is really good. So he's gonna be a great player.
But that's what I'm saying, man. Is Stafford? He has his weapons, at least in the passing game. So if he's got to throw 50 times a game, man, so be it. That's just. And it's funny that Darren Bevel, this is what he has to deal with, because he's like, hey, can he go? What is Marshawn Lynch doing right now, man?
That's all we heard about is how we're going to run the ball. All we're going to do is run the ball.
He's just got a bunch of scraps.
Hey, we are going to Oakland. What if we go say, hey, Marshawn, what do you come up off the couch, man, and come play against your former team?
Yeah. Yeah, we could use you for sure.
We'll give you the ball on 4th and 1 with the game on the line at the goal line.
What do you got, Tom? What's your prediction?
Man, I think they're gonna. Oh God, I don't know. I think they're gonna tie. I think this team is just destined to be just purgatory, just middle of the road. Has there ever been a team that had 2 ties in one season?
I'm sure there. I'm sure there has.
Yeah, well, let's look that up because that
1 year.
I think that's going to be my prediction, man. I think they tied 24-24, and the Lions are the first team in NFL history to have 2 ties in one season, and then they finished 7-7-2. So
they can finish 500.
Yeah, my 8-8 prediction stands strong if they go 7-7-2, right? I don't think it's ever happened. I don't think there's ever been a team with 2 ties. But that's what I'm going to go with, fellas. I'm going to predict that the Lions and Raiders tie 24-24.
24-24.
Yeah, I'm not even joking, man. I think this Lions season is so stupid and so mediocre and so annoying that's what's going to happen, man.
Didn't you in Little League football tie every game?
There's no winners, no losers.
Oh, no, I'm not well, I don't know, man. Depending on what you say, I'm not technically a millennial, dude. But no, I didn't get no participation trophies, man. We earned everything we got, man. Back in the day. Back in my day.
I'll let Joe keep looking.
Let me give your prediction.
It's the internet, man. Come on. It's supposed to be right there, dude. What is this, an NFL review? You got to look at it from every angle.
Take 10 minutes.
I'll let you know.
But, I'm taking the Lions. I think they're going to come out and win this game and give everybody some hope that they might actually do something this season, which we know how that ends. We know how that's going to end, but I'm going to say they go out and win like 30-20. I think Stafford's going to have another great game, continue one of the best seasons of his career, and put the Lions on his back and go out and win this game. But man, there's a lot of things about the Lions that scare me. Obviously, their run defense, their lack of pass rush, their lack of a running game. It's all there.
Hey, man, that's one thing we didn't really touch on that I do. And Joe, we'll do your prediction, but I want to talk about this real quick. What is the deal with the defense? It's so weird, man. Why do they not rush the passer?
I don't know.
What is the deal with that?
They spent so much money on their defense line. It looks so deep.
Well, they're only going
I know. Well, they're rushing a lot. They're rushing three guys a lot. You have your
three defensive linemen trying to get to the quarterback, and you're dropping everybody, and your linebackers just sitting it in the middle, and a lot of times it's not working.
Because you give him so much time.
Yeah. You can only cover a guy for so long, man.
They're going to find openings.
Why?
Even with eight guys trapped in coverage, you can find openings.
So why isn't Patricia's clearly this isn't working. We're going to start sending guys. Is he just so stubborn? Does he think it's just all going to come together? I don't know if he's stubborn or if
he just doesn't trust the back seven. They were playing well earlier in the year. But maybe he just doesn't trust those guys, and maybe that's why he refuses to bring more than three guys or four guys.
But bringing the heat is what the NFL is all about.
I agree. I think you do need to
put
to
that
mix it up.
quarterback under pressure.
At times you drop 8. At times you bring the house.
Yeah,
at times you bring 4.
Disguising
mix it up. You got to mix it up.
And I still go back to they spent so much on the defensive line. We went into this season. Everybody's saying this is going to be one of the best defensive lines in the league. And they can't get any pressure. Rush 4 with those guys that you got, guys you went out and signed for these situations. Let them go rush.
Well, half the guys have been hurt half the time, man. You went out and got Mike Daniels, but he's been hurt. Ashawn's been hurt. Fowler's he finally hit. Obviously we watch every game, man. I finally saw him do some productive stuff last game, but again, it was the Giants,
But we talked about I'd like to see some more creative things with Jared Davis. Maybe times where he comes off the edge or he splits it on the inside. I would like to see more from him. I'd like to see more creative.
How irritated are you guys at the fact that Devin Bush, who we could have drafted as our middle linebacker, leads the league in takeaways, forced fumbles and stuff. I was watching. Yes, I admit I was watching Pittsburgh Miami on Monday night. I'm a football junkie.
I watched a little bit.
And I forget the exact stat, but it was something like Devin Bush leads the league in defensive takeaways between forced fumbles, recover fumbles, interceptions. I forget exactly what it is, but he's basically just making plays all over the field.
It's frustrating. I think Hawkinson's going to be pretty good.
He could have been our linebacker.
But I think Hawkinson's going to be pretty good. But if you look at it just for the here and now, what does this team need? They're not getting a whole lot from Hawkinson. Their offense probably wouldn't be that much different with or without Hawkinson right now. In terms of what they're doing right now. But this defense would be a lot better if they had Devin Bush.
Holy smokes.
Now, long term, Hawkinson might end up being one of the best tight ends in the league. It's very possible. And 5 years from now, we might say, we're fine with Hawkinson. We're fine with that pick. But for the here and now, man, Devin Bush would be real nice.
Oh, man. Especially for local fans, because we watch Devin Bush. We know how good Devin Bush was. Devin Bush is doing what he did in college in the NFL right now.
Yeah, I didn't think
immediately.
Already.
So he's only going to get better. The only thing that's going to stop him is injury. And then that's a crapshoot. So I'm not going to be thank God. 5 years from now, if they're both good players, but Devin Bush gets hurt and Hawkinson is really good, I'm not going to be oh man, thank God, we drafted Hawkinson because we knew that Bush was probably just going to get hurt. So it is frustrating right now, man, to see Devin Bush doing what he's doing and knowing I still want to be a fan of Davis, and I see him getting better all the time.
Do you like how he walks? Have you seen him a couple times?
What?
He just he'll walk right down the line real slow. He's done it a couple times. You haven't noticed it?
No. I have no idea what you're talking
He's
about.
just like doing a quarterback spy. But it's just funny because he'll just go real slow. And
like before the snap? Are you saying before the snap?
No. After the snap, he'll walk like really slow. It just looks funny because you're just not. He just like stands up and just kind of walks, but it's like a QB spy that he's doing.
Okay, because that's his. Okay, I gotta look for that next time.
Yeah, he's done it a few times. I thought it was pretty funny.
Look for that.
Do you guys want a little bit of tie history?
Yes, please. Yeah.
There have been 6 teams that have 2 ties in one
season.
Yes.
Really?
You want to know what the most is in one season? How many do you think?
4?
God, 3.
6.
What?
6 ties.
Wait, yeah, I'm going to say 1934. Oh, damn, I was going to say 34.
The Bears, the Chicago Bears. And then there's been one with 5.
Back in the 30s, there was probably
there was a lot more ties back then. Yeah, before they were throwing passes.
Yeah,
I'm sure there was a lot of ties.
Before they had helmets that weren't leather.
It's all the ties in history. That's why I went to the page, and it's like it's just so much now.
That's funny though. But all right, man, Joe. What do you think, man? Can the Lions go out west and get above 500?
It is tough.
It's a very mediocre.
You could keep this like the mediocre show and just pick a loss, and then we'd have a loss, a tie, and a win.
There you go. At least one of us would be right.
I think at the beginning of the year I gave it as a win, and I had them at a worse spot than they are now. So.
Which is par for the course for you. You usually have the Lions.
I normally have them right. I normally have them down worse than you, but it's normally right.
Yeah.
So I think they are going to win. I am going to give them a win. It's going to have to be, like you said, a Stafford show, throwing the ball. I don't know. It's going to be an ugly game, I think. I don't think there's going to be anything pretty. Probably a ton of field goals both ways.
Bunch of stupid penalties.
Low-scoring game, just...
Guys jumping off sides. Yeah,
bunch of dumb penalties. Exactly. That's kind of how I'm looking at it. It's going to be one of the worst games this season, but we're going to come out victorious.
I don't think it's going to be that bad.
I really
think
do.
It's going to be an ugly game.
I do.
Hopefully, it might be exciting, man. I mean, there's two teams that are playing to win, man. Like, that are trying to find an identity.
So I'm going to say 20-17 in an ugly.
2017 Lions and an ugly.
How about 19-16?
Yeah, there you go.
19-16.
Is there going to be a safety involved?
I think there's
going
to be a lot of field goals.
Is the guy going to snap a overhead snap over the punter for a safety?
That could happen.
There's got to be something like that in there.
Yeah, so I'll say 19-16.
Are you going to throw in an absolutely atrocious penalty?
Well, that's a given. That's a given with the Lions. Come on, Tom.
But is it going to go against the Lions or against the Raiders?
We are due for some luck, but it's going to go against us.
So you think they're going to get some type of atrocious penalty, but still come out on top?
Yes, in an ugly game. With a lot of field goals.
So it's a Prater day. So if Prater's on your fantasy team...
Yeah, you might want to pick him up. But they'll win. I have confidence.
Yeah.
I have confidence.
I hope they do, man. I mean, of course, man. I'm still a fan. I want to root for him hardcore, man, but... It's just, man, this team is just so blah right now, man. They can't all, it's just like it's not all going to come together, you know? They're just mediocre as hell, man. And that's just what we get, man. Like being a Lions fan is...
It's like kissing your sister?
Yeah, well, yeah. That's a tie, yeah. Tie's like kissing your sister or being a Lions fan. Now, being a Lions fan is more like kissing the girl that's really pretty, but then right after that she kicks you in the nuts. So it's like, you know, like you just kiss a super hot girl, man, and everything's going great, and then like the next minute, she just, for some reason, you don't even know why, but she just kicks you in the nuts. You know?
Walks out the door.
Yeah.
And you're like, what the heck just happened?
Yeah, yo.
But then a few days later sends you a text.
Yeah. Sorry about kicking you in the nuts.
She sends you some ice.
You want to have dinner? All right.
Yeah.
And then you go through the same cycle again, and you just keep doing it again and again and again and again and again.
On that note, ladies and gentlemen, in this episode of the Detroit Sports Sit Down, it has been so much fun talking Lions with you guys, especially on this trade deadline day where the Lions just hang in Mediocreville, man, and that's where we're at, the land of purgatory. We are there. We are there at 3-3-1, and I'm telling you guys, I think my prediction is going to stand strong, where the Lions are just going to tie. They're just going to tie. They might, because that's just what this team is, man. They're just somewhere in the middle, hanging around, and it might be like that for the rest of our freaking lives. This is the Detroit Sports Sit Down.